I'm going to show you 7 things AI can actually do for your business. And I'm going to show this to you live, so through live demos. And by the end of this, we are going to walk away with at least one workflow that saves you a good chunk of time in your week. And if you're new to my world, I am Sarah. I'm a brand strategist and an AI consultant. I love systems, productivity, and tech. So when AI came out, it was so natural for me to adopt it in my business. And because I naturally love to teach, it just married the two together, the brand strategy and all the tech and AI. So that is why I am teaching this. So here is the reframe I want to start with. We are moving past chatting to AI. Ironically, this is how most of us got introduced to AI. It was through ChatGPT, and we used it to write an email and basically use it like a Google search. Some of us used it to, write captions, and we ended up sounding like a robot, and we had like hundreds of emojis, and we thought that looked like a good caption, right? And so we closed the tabs and we went back to just doing it everything ourselves. I am here to tell you this is not what AI is for. And that's not even close to what it's capable of. And with this time together, I'm going to prove that to you. So let's get started. But here is a quick story before we dive in. Some of you are watching this and thinking, wait, why isn't she using ChatGPT? Or maybe you just started hearing about Claude AI. So let me explain why I personally switched and why a lot of people switched to Claude in 2026. The quick story is, early this year in February, there was a public standoff between Anthropic, the company that makes Claude, and the Pentagon. The Pentagon wanted to use Claude for 2 things: mass domestic surveillance of Americans and fully autonomous weapons systems, meaning weapons that can pick targets and fire without human deciding. Anthropic said no, and they walked away from a $200 million contract. Meanwhile, OpenAI, so the owners of ChatGPT, they agreed to work with the government and use their AI for many of these same use cases. So when this story broke, a lot of us canceled ChatGPT subscriptions and we moved to Claude. So that's like the quick story. Now, here's the wild part. Once people started using Claude, they realized it is so much better than ChatGPT. I don't know what we were doing over there. It sounds more natural, like the tone. It really does sound like your voice if you train it well. And since then, Claude rolled out feature after feature this year. Like, I cannot keep up. There's Claude Code, and this is for the people who are non-coders to start creating apps and websites. We have Claude in Chrome, which I'll show you in a minute. We have Claude Cowork, which works on your desktop and it becomes your assistant. We can connect it to so many different connectors, which is also something I am going to be showing you. Now, ChatGPT recently launched their version of Claude Code. It's called Codex. And a lot of people are flooding back to ChatGPT because it's cheaper, which honestly, it just shows how fast people forget and they move to the next shiny object that costs them $5 less. For me, for now, I am sticking with Claude. It is super efficient to start building your whole business in one platform rather than moving around between different AI platforms. Now, definitely there is advantage to using Perplexity for research, for example. Gemini sometimes has good use cases. So I'm not saying just go all in Claude, but when you're building everything about your business, you want to have it all in one place so that you don't have to keep training a tool. So before we get into the demos, I have to talk a little bit about prompts, because everything I'm about to show you, every demo, every workflow, that all starts with a prompt. Let's briefly talk about how we should be writing our inputs in AI. Basically, everything starts with a prompt. And a prompt is strategical language that you use to talk to AI. It's how you tell Claude what to do, who to be, and how to do it. So the cool thing is you don't have to be great at writing prompts. You just need to be very specific. The more specific, the better output you're gonna get. And the reason most people they get bad output isn't because AI is not trained well. It's a very well trained machine, but it's because you're typing into Claude very basic sentences. So something like, write me an Instagram caption with no context. That's it. No role, no format, just write me an Instagram caption. In order for our outputs to be good, we have to be more strategic. And I have a whole framework I'll be sharing with you called the Prompt Architect. And it has 5 common components, and every prompt should have that. So I'm just briefly going to talk about this before the 7 demos. So here we are, we have the role, which is who you want Claude to be, not just expert writer. We need to be more specific, like a direct response copywriter who writes for skeptical female founders, for example. And we also have to give it directive. So one clear instruction, what exactly do you want done? Context, this is where most people underdeliver. Your audience, your brand, your invoice, your goal, your industry. The more context you give it, the less generic the output is. Now for the format, don't let Claude decide what the format is. You should have some idea. Like if you wanted to write, copy for your website, just give it some more direction. Short paragraphs, how many characters, hashtags, no hashtags. Be a bit more specific on the format and give it examples, because this is the secret weapon. One example can teach Claude more than a paragraph of instructions. For example, if you have a caption that performed well, paste that into Claude so that it knows that this is a good caption. If you have website copy that's good, show that as an example, because when you ask it to give you something, it really doesn't know what good is unless you give it an example. So most of the prompts I'm going to use today all have this 5 components all baked in it. And I actually have a guide. It's called the Prompt Architect. It walks you through the framework, weak versus strong prompt, examples, copy paste, and I'm also sharing that in the resource hub. This is a hub that I was able to create with Claude, not Claude Code, just in Claude Chat. And in there, let me just share it here. I am sharing the Prompt Architect guide. So you just click on here, and in this guide, I'm sharing basically all that I shared here, but I'm giving you the templates and here's an example. Write an email about my new membership launch. That is a very weak prompt. Now this is a stronger prompt. So I'm just giving you examples in here. Okay. So you're going to have that in addition to all the resources that I'm going to share with you. So all the prompts here, you can easily just copy paste them inside Claude and get to work. So you don't have to take notes or anything. It's all in here. It's nice and organized. So yeah, and I have some free resources here that you can check out as well. So yeah, super easy to navigate. And this is the power of AI, right? Being able to deliver something like this makes your experience much better than me sending you a document with these prompts, right? I think you would agree. So yeah, I just wanted to share that here. Okay, so these are going to be the 7 demos that we are going to be talking about. We're going to talk about competitive analysis. This is going to be super powerful. A lot of businesses, they are struggling and they don't know where to start. So this is a great place. Instagram audit. I'm going to talk about connectors, specifically connectors to your G Suite. We're going to talk about how to connect Claude with a project management tool and the power of it, your website and the different things they can do with Claude for your website, and then organizing your finances. I'm going to demonstrate something pretty cool. And then documents that you can create specifically for service-based businesses. So let's get started. So this is the first demo, which is the competitive analysis. And here's why it is so valuable for business owners specifically. Most of us don't have a marketing team. We're guessing. We're like watching our competitors on Instagram thinking, should I be doing what she's doing? Why is her offer working and mine isn't? Before AI, the only way to do this would be either to hire somebody that you probably pay 5K a month to consult, or spend an entire weekend stalking your competitors. But today, with the help of AI, we can do this with like 90 seconds. And I'm going to show you how this is done. So I'm going to bring the resource page. I'm going to go back here, and the prompt is here. So all we have to do is copy, and I am going to use Claude in the browser. Let me just open that. Okay, so here we are. This is just on the browser, it's not on the desktop. And all I'm gonna do is copy paste this specific prompt. This is what makes this prompt good. You are Alex Hormozi. If you don't know Alex Hormozi, go watch him on YouTube. But he is the author of, he's like the best person to watch for marketing. He is the author of 100 Million Offers. So what we're doing here, we are going to change two or three things. We are just going to change three things: my business, the location, and the keywords. And then it's going to do its work with all the competitor analysis, and we are going to read through. For this, I actually went through my DMs, and this is somebody who recently booked a call with me concerning AI. So I'm gonna just use her as an example here. So this is her Instagram, and I'm just gonna copy the one line here, and then I'm gonna paste it. Okay, so she's a career coach, author. It's an online niche, so we're gonna keep that. And a few keywords, I would say like online education for nurses to land interviews. That's all I need to put, and we can have Claude go to work. I would highly suggest you use Opus for this. It does require a lot of thinking, so we are gonna go let it go to work. So this is the first demonstration of showing you that when you use a prompt like this, it can really save you so much time. Now, specifically, we put this information, but you can have it go and find your competitors if you want it. So it's gonna go to work, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this took like a good 10 minutes. So it just finished, and it delivered it as an MD file here. So we are able to read this, and we can download this as an MD file, but that's going to be very hard to read, or we can download it as a PDF. But as it lives inside Claude, it's fine. But if we want to bring it out, we can download it as a PDF. So let's have a look. So this is the competitive briefing. So there's executive summary. Okay, top 3 moves. Own specialty and salary as the single wedge. Productize. Okay, so it's giving her feedback to focus on Canada before like entering the kind of UK area. We've got the market overall, the demographic, competitor analysis. So here are her competitors. Okay, so nurse coach Caroline, Jenny, new grad nursing. Okay, so we didn't really need to give Claude much for it to, go find these competitors. Okay, so now there's a section about each competitor, what their product is, their weakness. Okay, that's interesting. There's a lot here. And then the market opportunity. So who to focus on? Pre-graduates. Okay, talking about pricing here. So like, free stuff, that's very saturated. Okay, so it's saying like products between the 500 and the 2000, that is empty. So that's a good thing to focus on. Strategy recommendation, kind of like Hormozi style. Okay, so having one positioning angle. Here's the pricing. It recommends the marketing channels. So LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, And then implementation. Okay, so this is basically what a competitive analysis would look like. Be patient. I thought this would be much faster, but when I'm seeing the result, I am like thankful it took 10 minutes because this is a lot of work if you were to do it by yourself. So this is where AI can shine. So I am going to move to the next demo. Okay, so this one is an Instagram audit, and this one we are going to do inside not Claude the browser, but the Chrome extension. And I'm gonna share that with you. And the reason why I feel like this would be very beneficial is because, you know, who isn't on a social media they want to audit? Like, we want to know that our efforts on social media are paying off and how we can improve. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to open my browser. Here's what you need to have. This is a Claude Chrome extension that you can download on your browser, and it just basically opens on your browser. Now, I need to warn you because you should not be using this browser extension on websites you don't trust. So for example, Instagram is a trusted website, YouTube is a trusted website, but like a random link on like somebody's random website. And the reason is because hackers can have some sort of code that is transparent that you can't read, but when a Chrome extension like Claude is reading through it, it will read it and it will take it as a command. And this could be like, you know, go and find somebody's password or like something, you know, a lot of, it could take a lot of information. So yeah, I just need to leave it here. Don't use it on a website that you don't trust. So what I'm going to do here, actually, I am going to go to the resource page. One second. Here's the resource page, and I'm going to copy this Instagram audit. Okay, so basically this audit is saying audit my Instagram and give me feedback and what I need to change. So my bio, does my profile a photo match my niche and give me a good first impression? Is my bio searchable with keywords my audience would use? Does my bio speak to my audience and why they should follow me? Is there a clear call to action? So it's not only like checking your post, but it's actually looking at your bio. It's looking at you know, your highlights, all of that. And even it could go into your links and see if it's all working. So I'm gonna go ahead and have that started. Okay, so it just needs an approve the plan here. Okay, the audit is complete. So let's have a look. Now, this is not the first time I do this type of audit. So I did improve quite a lot since the last time I did this audit. So let's see what still needs work. So it's saying that the profile photo is strong, clear face, warm expression, on brand, neutral palette. Okay, and then the name. This is the highest leverage. Okay, of real estate on Instagram for SEO, and you're using it well. So these are the things that I actually changed when it gave me those comments. Okay, so the bio copy, it speaks clearly to who should follow. Now the weakness, yeah, it doesn't like that I have an arrow and I have a Canadian flag. I don't know, I personally like having the Canadian flag, but I guess Claude thinks it's a wasted space. The link to bio, now I originally had like 13 different links, and since then I think I only have 3. For some reason Claude wants me to just have 1. I'm fine with 3 for now. Yeah, the highlights cover has some comments. I actually erased a lot of things. I archived a lot of highlights, and if you haven't done so, yeah, go back to your highlights and see if something is not necessary and get rid of it. The content and niche, so you are very tightly niche on Claude and AI for female founders. Okay, that's a strength, not a weakness, so that's still good. Now, working on the pillars, no commentary, behind the scenes, tutorial style to comparison. Okay, so this is obviously what it's seeing. What's clearly working, your viral pattern, is when I'm starting with Claude just announced, Claude just audit for my Instagram. So there's a pattern here. Hook strength. Yeah, and then consistency. So I am posting twice or 3 times a week. Okay, and then with growth opportunities, the single biggest untapped level, your viral reels are getting thousands of views. Make sure your DM's automation is bulletproof, the DM funnel. Yeah, still working on that. Okay, so here is an example of how you can use Claude. Before AI, this would have meant that you hired somebody or you had to pay for like expensive tools to get this done. But now you can get this done with just using Claude and paying like $20 a month, and you get these results. But okay, here's the thing. Don't go doing audits and doing this and that if you're not gonna do anything about it. Like if I didn't actually, my reels weren't going viral to start with. Like I actually was at a plateau for a very long time, and I did this audit and I listened to exactly what Claude told me. I changed my bio, I changed my links, I removed the highlights, and I focused on the type of content that is going to, you know, bring better audience. And since then, yes, things have really like changed in terms of views. So my views here are up. I'm getting tons of DMs. So that's what I wanted to say. Don't just go and do an audit and not do anything about it. So let's go to the next demo. Okay, so the next demo is about connectors, and there are so many ways that you can use a Claude to connect to many different, like thousands of platforms, and they are adding new platforms every single day. I am going to be talking about G Suites, but I'm also going to show you other connectors. And in order to see that, we are going to open Claude on our desktops. Okay, so I have Claude on my desktop, and I am going to go to customize, and this is where we're going to find the connectors. We are going to see the different connectors and just get an idea of if I connect Claude to these connectors, how it could possibly help. So they have a Canva connector. So that means you can create copywriting inside Claude and then go tell it to create a Canva carousel, and it's going to create it in Canva and then give you that link. We have all the Microsoft suite. This is new stuff. The Microsoft suite is now included. This is the Gmail we're going to talk about. We have the Google Drive, Notion. We're also going to talk about Google Calendar. Recently, Adobe connects to also Claude. So this has been a game changer to a lot of people who are using the Adobe suite to do like these changes without opening Adobe, just using Claude and going and creating these changes. HubSpot, Asana. This is new, Descript. I use this to edit my videos. So that has been interesting. And if you're not sure like what exactly you can do, if I click on it. Descript is a video editor. You can direct through conversation. Okay, and then so we can ask it to transcribe, remove filler words, and we can have it done through Claude. I haven't connected it yet, but sounds interesting. Now, what I'm going to be focusing on as a business owner, connecting to the G Suite is going to be super helpful. If you're using Google Calendar to schedule everything, when you connect it, so here you could see there's a plus sign. That means this is not connected, but the ones that have this mark here, I have already connected. So I do have Google Drive, I do have Google Calendar, and I have Gmail already connected. And you can give it a direction to go check your emails and write drafts to your email and not send them. It's just gonna go and create those drafts, and then the next morning you're gonna go in and you're gonna see those drafts and you're gonna read through them before you send them. I'll give you a couple of examples of how you can use, for example, Google Calendar. I recently did this reel where I showed how you can share a website that has many dates. For example, your kids' days off from school. Like those can be a lot of content that you need to plug and play into Google Calendar manually. If you just give those websites to Claude, it's going to connect to Google Calendar and do this. I show this in one of my reels, but what I want to do today, this is going to be an interesting thing because this is something that is happening right now, which is the World Cup. There are many matches happening all around the world at different times. And we're gonna get Claude to go and fetch all these dates and go and add them to Google Calendar. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna go to the chat here and I'm gonna talk to Claude and I'm gonna tell it what I want. So I'm just gonna speak to it because I can just click 2 buttons on my keyboard and it just transcribes. The World Cup is happening very soon. Your job is go and find all the matches that are happening, and I want you to add them to my Google Calendar. And I want you to put the date and time. You can also include other information like where the game is being played, in what country. Let me know if you need any verifying questions, but I think you have everything you need to do this task. Okay, so let's wait and see how this is going to work out. Okay, so we can see that Claude is going to work. It's saying that, yeah, there's going to be 48 teams, 104 matches. Okay, that's going to be a lot. But luckily, I'm connecting it to a calendar that I don't use for my work. So that's totally fine. I can erase them after, but I wanted to demonstrate this. I know it is not business related, but this is an example of a lot of information, so many dates, and you going and manually trying to remember this is happening when. This is also good if you're traveling and you're going to a conference. There's so many things happening. Yeah. How many matches do you want added? Oh, should I say all of them? Well, let's go with all of them. Okay, where should they go? Main calendar, color coded. Yeah, main calendar, that's fine. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking, adding 140 games to my Google Calendar, but it's asking me this took quite a while, so I'm gonna stop here and I am going to, tell it to, just to stop. Okay, so it's done. Let's have a look. So these are all the matches and the different times. So this is my own time. I am in the Mountain Standard Time. So it says, where it's being played. So yeah, all the information is there. So yeah, this is a use case scenario. Didn't add all of them because I made it stop. There's 61 more games. But yeah, just an example of how you can use it. Okay, so the next demo is the Claude connecting to project management tools. So listen, Claude is great as an AI tool. There's a lot of chat threads, but the problem is it's not a project management tool. You want the information to live somewhere. They need to live in a database. They can live in a Google Sheet. They can live inside Notion, which is known for like databases, Asana, which is a project management tool. So when these tools connect, now you can have like the tasks and a source of truth that you can go back to. So my personal 2 favorite ones are Notion and Asana, and I'm going to show you how you can use either Notion or Asana, and I'm going to show 2 different case scenarios here. Okay, so here is a use case scenario where I have a Notion template that Claude originally created for me. Now, every time I want to do any updates to this, I tell Claude to do that. This is a database that I have inside my community where every week I'm adding a new prompt. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the resource hub here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this Instagram audit prompt. And I'm going to go to Claude. Let me go open Claude here. Okay. And here I'm going to ask Claude and I'm going to say, I want you to edit my Notion page, which is called, what was it called? Prompt drop vault with this new prompt that I want to include. Go ahead and update that Notion page. Okay, so I'm gonna include that prompt here, and yeah, I'm gonna get it to go to work. If it needs anything, it's gonna ask me some questions, but yeah, it's gonna go and find that Notion page because I did connect it already. So if we go back here, I go to customize, connect, you're gonna see that my Notion is already connected. So any new pages that I create, it already has access to. So let me go back. Okay, it's working. Okay, it's done. Let's have a look. So it's going directly to the Notion page. Okay, so When you look at this, you might think that's not the same thing, but if I go back, this is the database I originally showed you, so it's over here. But when I click on it, this is where we see all the information. So it created a description, because you saw what I gave it. I just basically gave it the prompt. It gave me the description, the prompt, how to use, because it already has kind of like a template whenever I do that. So this is the easiest example I thought to show you. Now I'm going to show you how to use Asana with Claude. So what I did is I went to just Claude chat here, and I did this before because I know it was going to take a lot of time, but basically I told Claude that I have a brand new client that needs a website created, and yeah, just gave it a few more information. And if you ever created a website, you know there's a lot of steps that come. And I told it to go and create a project inside Asana. So I'm going to show you basically what it did. So I told it to go create a project in Asana with all the steps. I didn't even specify what the steps are. I just said all the steps because maybe I forgot some steps. So it went ahead and created all these different phases for each step. Yeah, so discovery and planning, brand discovery, SEO foundation, copywriting, design, the build, integration, content migration, Q&A and testing, launching the website, and post-launching the website. If I was to think about all these tasks, I probably miss 50% of them, but it went ahead and created this. This is why I'm saying it is important to have a project management tool, because Claude can come up with all these tasks, but they're going to live in Claude. And then you're going to open a new chat and a new chat, and things are going to get lost. But here you can come back and find this specific project. And yeah, the beauty of oh, it included a lot of information inside too. I didn't even notice this. Okay, some of them, not all of them. Yeah, so all I have to do is go through the list, the things that I'm done. I just like check mark it, it's done and taken care of. So I just wanted to show you, yeah, you can connect it to Asana, you can connect it to Notion. It's a game changer. Okay, so for this next demo, we're going to talk about websites. So I'm going to spend a few extra minutes here because there are 4 different things that you can actually do when it comes to your website. So we're going to talk about the SEO audit first. Now, once again, we are going to go and find the prompt in the resources. Okay, so here is the resources. I'm going to go find that prompt. Okay, just found it. So I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to go inside Claude. And yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to paste this here. And there are a few things that we are changing. We are changing the URL, so the website and what the business does and who it serves. And optional, we can specify anything about the pages. So I'm going to use my own website, which I have not updated in a while. This is the website I use for like web design and brand design. So I'm just gonna grab that URL, okay, and I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, and then what does the business do? So I'm gonna say brand design and web design, and I help small businesses. Okay, I'm not going to include any specific keywords, and I'm going to let this run. I'm going to use Opus 4.7, so we have a good SEO search. And I actually want to read through this. So what we're also doing, we're going to see how the site shows up ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and Google. So we want to do this audit so that we improve where this shows online through AI tools. That's the whole purpose of this audit. I would highly encourage everybody to do this audit to their website. There's a ton that it's going to discover. So this might take a bit of time, but I'm going to go ahead and have that started. Now, while this is working, I want to briefly talk about the other parts that it can help with. So copywriting, definitely when you train AI on your voice and you bring great examples of copywriting, it is able to create a highly converting copywriting for your sales page, your land pages, your opt-in pages. It also can check your UX design. So the way that people navigate through your website, like where the buttons are, the colors of the buttons, and all of that. So this is another section. It can help with your website and also build the page. I have built quite a few pages now on just using Claude. And that resource page that I'm sharing with you, that is a prime example of a website it was able to create. Now this one is more of a dashboard, but I can also show you other website that I have created just with Claude. This one is more of a sales page. So each section just, moves through the website. That's another example. Now, when you have a folder on your desktop, you can add images. So it doesn't have to just be text. You can tell it where you want the images to be, and it will actually put it in there. Here's another example of a website, and this one's actually kind of like a lead magnet. It's interactive. The purpose of it is 100 AI tasks that AI can do for you. So we have like email marketing, content creation, social media marketing and funnels, website and SEO courses, business operations, and each one has it has the prompt. So when I click on here, it has the specific prompt, and with that formula that I talked about, and you just copy it and then use it. And if I was to like check mark, it's going to tell you how much you're saving time by using this AI. So here's an example of creating a lead magnet with using Claude. Okay, so let's go back and have a look. I think Claude is done. So health check. The work is gorgeous and the business is clear. Your package, your pricing. Okay, so that's like positive feedback. What's working, what's broken. So your service page list, the pricing. Okay, so that's working. What's broken? Let's have a look at that. Every page meta description is empty. Okay, so I need to do that. Your titles are generic. Homepage, that could use some work. Okay, so I guess the quick wins would be writing these meta descriptions. Yeah, it's giving me advice on how like the page titles to include keywords, your city. That doesn't matter because I take clients from all over. Okay, so it's giving me advice to claim the city that I'm in. Okay, so AI search, so if I add an FAQ section to my services, that's gonna help with AI search. Add real written case studies, put a short author line on more than just the about page, put your real numbers in writing on the homepage. 15 years of experience, write a clean what we do summary. So here's an example how you can use SEO on your own website. Yeah, this could be very valuable if you want to start ranking. Like if your goal is to rank better on Google or like showing up on ChatGPT, you have to tell it, and it knows that like what it's going to take to be there. So it's going to give you a different direction than what I use this for. Okay, so here is the next demo, which is finances. And this is going to be interesting. I used to have a product-based business. So I did used to have a lot of physical receipts, and I used to have to take pictures of them and store them in a folder for tax reasons. So I am going to demonstrate something like this. Now you might have digital receipts, so that might be even easier, but yeah, I'm going to show you how you can start doing this. I'm going to open the folder. So here's what we're doing. I have like physical receipts that I have taken pictures of. This is very tedious work to go in, find the date, how much I paid for things, and then put it in an Excel sheet. This would be very tedious work, but now this is going to be easy with the help of AI. So yeah, this is how these receipts kind of look like. They aren't like the best type of receipts. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to go inside Claude. So I'm going to go back, but this time we are going to go to Claude Cowork. And the reason is because these receipts right now live on a folder on my computer. So I'm going to start a new task, and I am going to specify where this folder is. So I'm going to go and choose the folder. I think I have it on the desktop. It's called supplies. I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna allow, and I'm gonna say, I want you to go through all the receipts that you find in this folder, and I want you to create a Google spreadsheet and have it organized for tax purposes. Okay, and I'm gonna let it go to work. So Claude is going to work and it's reading all these images. It's adding it here. Yeah, so I did have an Etsy shop. I did have my other business. So it's going through and just kind of sorting everything. Here it's like it has kind of the progression. So yeah, these are like from 2021, but I wanted like physical receipts to show you. And yeah, it's gonna extract all the information. It's gonna categorize it for tax purposes, and then it's gonna go and build that Google Sheet. So I'm going to be reporting back in a bit. Okay, so Claude is done. It has created the spreadsheet, but it also gave me additional information. It says there's a business name mismatch. That's true because I have had two businesses at that time. Okay, so there's a mix between the receipts, and yeah, some of them the vendor was not visible. So now I'm gonna click on it. So it actually shows it to me in a Google Sheet. Yeah, so all the dates are here, the vendors, description, category, subtotal, taxes. This is gonna save a lot of time for people who have to like manually, enter all the taxes, shipping, the total. Verify plan was, and it's giving me some notes here. So yeah, if you're like, let's say this is 75% accurate and then you have to go and like edit it, but imagine how much time it would have, saved you. It has some notes here. I don't know what you guys think, but I feel like this is super valuable. Okay, and let's move on to the next demo. So for this demo, we are talking about how Claude can create documents for us if we are a service provider. So for example, contracts, proposal, onboarding, SOPs, we can create internally, different type of research. And it is so simple to have a very nice on-brand document that you can share with your clients that does not take hours or weeks to create. So let me show you how this is done. Okay, so now before going to Claude and doing anything, I want to tell you about my workflow and how it saves me so much time. So I use a tool called Granola, and what Granola does is it transcribes anytime I have a meeting. It transcribes word for word when I'm talking to the client, so I don't have to take any notes. And then I use that transcription and bring it into Claude, and Claude is able to dissect it, find patterns, pain points that client has mentioned, the next steps, and it would suggest like things that maybe I missed on that call. So inside Granola, I'm gonna just bring in an example of a client that I met with. So after it transcribes word for word, it kind of like summarizes everything. So it has like points, right? So I could either take this, okay, or I can bring the whole transcription. So I have the whole transcription here, which is like 17 pages, and I can copy this. So I can copy this whole thing and I can go to Claude and I'm gonna paste this. So it pastes this this way, and I'm just using Claude Chat to do this. Now, from this transcript, I can have a proposal created, an invoice, an onboarding system. Yeah, I just need to tell Claude what I want. So I'm gonna ask it to create the first onboarding document. Yeah, let's get started. Okay, so here is what I asked Claude. I want you to create an onboarding document that I can send to this client now that we are going to start working together. So I pasted that transcription. Please create an HTML file based on my branding and previous HTML files that you have created for me. So it's doing all the work now. So Claude just finished and it created the onboarding document. So welcome, when we're starting, when we begin. I might change some of the wording. It sounds too AI. Okay, so how we'll work together, how that she can reach me. Okay, a few things before we start. There's gonna be a 15-minute video. So very organized. Yeah, imagine like this is what you would be sending a client for onboarding or like any type of document. Super organized. Yeah, and if I need anything changed from here, all I have to do is tell Claude to change this, add this, remove this, and okay, so this ends up being, let me go, I can download as an HTML, I can add to a project, or I can publish. Here's what I am doing. I'll just give you this tip. So I am downloading the HTML file, and I'm just gonna put it on my desktop here. And what I'm using a platform called Netlify, and this is the platform that allows pages like this to become live on the web. Because right now, this file, I will only be able to open it on my browser, like on my computer, on my desktop. I can't even open it on my phone if I send it to my phone. So I need a way for it to become live. And so I use Netlify. It is free. So this is basically it. I have a few pages live and I just drag and drop them. So for example, this resource hub that I'm sharing with you, I just dragged and dropped it in here, and I'm able to change not the full domain. It's still going to show netlify.app, but I am able to rename it. And now it's live, and you guys are able to, find this domain and use it now. So yeah, just a trick. So how to go from a page like this and to share it to the world or share it with your client. Okay, so we just have covered all 7 demos. I hope that you found them useful. Let me know. I would love to hear your feedback. And now I love that you are watching this video, but I want you to go and implement. It's so easy for us to consume, but if we don't go and use these prompts or use these, different reels that you're watching that is showing you how to do things in Claude, we're just going to be stuck. And your business is not the same as mine, so your brand voice is different, your offers are different. So that is why I would go and encourage you to go and implement what you've learned. Now, if you found this masterclass to be helpful, I want to invite you inside my AI for Female Founders community. This is where I share my best prompts every week. I also share a training. We are building a Claude business brain, so you can follow that because we want Claude to help us to sound like us and to understand our businesses in order to become more like an assistant versus just chatbots. And I also go live inside the community. If you have questions, I go and answer them. So consider that your invite.